And I'm a geek in part because of my love for literature. I grew up in a house with my mother who was an English teacher, and for my mother, Irma Jean, reading was not optional. In my mother's household, you either read a book or you got hit in the head with one. And for me as a kid, the body of literature that I gravitated toward more than any other was always science fiction. As a kid growing up in Sacramento, California, it was rare for me to see heroes in the pages of those novels who looked like me. There were hardly, back in the day, any heroes of color, and so Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future was critically important to me. What it said to me was that when the future comes, there will be a place for you. And to have grown up and become, for people dealing with physical challenges, what Nichelle Nichols represented for me when I was a kid has been phenomenal. Science fiction literature and science fiction representations, depictions of the future in the popular culture have, for me, always been inspirational in nature, because science fiction dares to ask what I consider, Eric, to be two of the most important words in combination. And those words are what if? What if? The link between that which we imagine and that which we manifest in third dimension is inextricable. There isn't a thing that you can think of in creation that did not begin first with a thought in the mind of man or in the mind of God. And I believe those two to be exactly one and the same. I firmly believe that there was some kid who watched those original episodes of Star Trek and saw Captain Kirk continually reach back to that secret Velcro place because there are no pockets in the future. Whip out that communicator, flip it open, and call Scotty!
No, I feel like I need to be beamed up right now.
You need to be beamed up?
Right.
And I believe that that kid became a scientist, an engineer, a designer, and is responsible for a piece of technology that is more common today than the toaster. Show of hands, how many people have either used one or seen somebody use a flip cell phone? That which we imagine tends to be that which we manifest in third dimension. Human beings are manifesting machines. It is what we are hardwired to do. And so my message to you this morning is, you, developers, are the dreamers in our culture. So I encourage you to not be afraid to dream that big dream. What if? What if? What if? What are the contributions that you are going to make to our present that lead us to our future? And as my friend Patrick Stewart, who plays Jean-Luc Picard, likes to say, make it so.
Thank you.
Eric?
We'll make it so.
Make it so. Have a great day. Thanks for letting me hang out with you in the living room.
It's called Intel Atom Processor CE4100, formerly codenamed Sodaville. This will be Intel's very first delivery of 45nm generation single-chip SoC. It is optimized for IPTV set-top boxes, connected media players such as Blu-ray and PVRs, as well as, of course, digital TVs. You can expect this to be fully backward compatible with the CE3100. You will know that software compatibility is the hallmark of Intel architecture. In fact, we're able to utilize the same platform drivers and foundation software that was running on 3100 directly on 4100 when we first got the silicon back to the fab. It has hardware decode to handle dual-stream HD videos, high-end audio capabilities, everything that you need to build very high-end AV system that incorporates such thing as Blu-ray. It has advanced 3D, but we've doubled the clock rate of the 3D graphics engine, effectively increasing the performance of 3D graphics substantially. It also has hardware support for MPEG-4. Also, it's got fully integrated 1080p uncompressed AV capture capability so that you could actually bring in HD videos from outside, whether it's your own private streams or from other external sources as part of your product. It also has integrated NAND controller for very fast boot directly from memory. It supports DDR2 and DDR3 for great flexibility in product design. So, just 1 year after Intel C3100 delivery, we're executing on the Moore's Law. We're now gearing up to deliver the next generation CE-SoC 4100. As you can see from this comparison, you can see dramatic improvement in the overall size, which has huge implications on the products that we design.
If you touch it, Linfield and the desktop, let me say first of all in one sentence. Nehalem architecture, Linfield architecture is a great architecture, but it's even better when you look at the mobile space. And I'll explain why it excels. First of all, I believe you heard the TikTok story, and we'll continue to say it until you say TikTok, TikTok. The TOC is the new architecture, the TIC is the compaction and integration. We're trying to make sure that we are not merging the two together because the risk is huge. A new architecture, a new process technology, then Nehalem is a TOC. Stable 45 nanometer architecture, totally new. A stable 45 nanometer process technology, totally new architecture, so the risk in the architecture is not the process technology, and later on I'll take you over to Westmere, which is the 32 nanometer. I'll try to dispel some myths. People say performance doesn't matter and all these kind of things. I'll try to elaborate on it, and then if you have questions, we'll try at the end to answer, or I've got many guys from my organization, Director of Marketing, and other guys that will be able to give you some answer with respect to it. But before I dive into it, let me take 7 to 10 minutes speaking about the trends, because I believe the trend dictates what we are going to do in the near future. So first of all, the world is going mobile. If we were arguing 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when we introduced Centrino, notebook have been 17% of the client, mainly enterprise, black boxes. Consumer didn't know it was too expensive, $1,500, $1,600. We already won. The world is going mobile. Last year, we crossed the tick of 50% of the client. Client is desktop plus mobile. More than 50% have been notebooks. If I look forward, by 2012-13, we are going to cross 75%, and this is without looking at what's going to happen with the netbook category, which definitely I'm much more bullish than the majority of the number I've seen. But I believe this will definitely change the market. We're speaking about...
Why 1 call per person? Because you do not share your phone with somebody else. If your son is coming to you and say, Dad, I lost my phone, you tell him 2 things. Tough luck. Or I'll buy you a new one if you're a good father. You'll never get him yours. Because it's your calendar, your contacts, your people, everything. Even if your spouse will lose the phone, you do not share it, it's personalized. And it's interesting, I gave this example in Japan, and they told me, Edinson, that's not a good example for personalization.
The major manufacturer, they already have it, very easy to identify. You just hit alternate control delete. You look at the performance monitor, you see that you've got 8 threads, and you know, okay, this is clock speed. So I encourage you to go later on, touch it, look a little bit at the responsiveness. This is really beautiful systems. And again, these systems are going to be available. I don't know how fast it will go into the channel. I'm sure that some of them will be available pretty soon, some of them, but definitely this will give you totally new experience, and I'll say which is the new experience that I'm going to talk about. So as I said, always when we speak about it, you'll see this is the frequency, this is the turbo, this is the frequency, this is the turbo. Let me make a deeper dive than before and say why do we believe it's important. First of all, if I'm trying to go for a 50,000 about this architecture of Nehalem, I believe there are a few things to mention. First of all, the turbo boost technology, which again, I know that some of you are journalists going to write article, so I don't want you to suffer this evening in the hotel trying to figure out what's the headline. Just use Intel Turbo kick ass. Or I can help you, but if you are more politically correct, I'll help you. But definitely, it's a lot about the turbo. And I'm going to enjoy it because if you don't have turbo, you might be a little bit disadvantaged, and I'll help you to see what is the disadvantage that will help you. Not that I'm alluding to any competition or anything like that. So we are going to have the turbo boost technology, the hyper-threading, that you can run 2 threads in parallel on the same core in order to accelerate the application if you run either application which is threaded or you're running more than one task. We've got the dynamic power management, and the whole idea is to reduce the leakage as much as possible to get long battery life. And the more power I can cut from some part of the technology, I can move the extra power